Hi everyone, my name is Ephraim. So today I'm going to talk about the newly announced Sony HDR-CX455 that has been recently launched by Sony in CES 2016. So when this camcorder launched and I went through the features and specification and looked through the exterior of the camcorder, I was surprised that Sony has actually done a very good job to upgrade their older model, the Sony HDR-CX405. So as I was going through, I thought of, this camcorder is really a great buy, for those who are actually looking for a camcorder to record their videos. So although their price point is slightly higher, it's at $398 USD. So I was thinking like, since it's a little bit more expensive, people might want to consider older models like the CX405, which is about $150 cheaper to $200 cheaper. But as I was going through, and I was thinking that even though it's a little bit more expensive, or maybe twice the price, you can always wait for Black Fridays or deals to get at a lower price. So you will be able to get some advantage out of it, because the features that they include this year into their new CX455 is a very good and useful features. It's not features that are gimmicky, There's features that are useful. For example, I can give you now is the microphone input. It's very useful. Everyone has been asking me, what are the camcorders that actually offers microphone input. Usually I would say that only Canon VXIA series offers the microphone input for an entry-level camcorder. But usually I would recommend Sony or Panasonic. If it's not because of the microphone input, it's because Panasonic or either Sony, they have better lens, and their lens are actually wide angle, so it's better. So as well as Sony's 26.8mm wide angle lens, and also it is a Zeiss lens, the optical is really very good. So in this video, I'm just going to go through all the features and all the details that you might want to consider this model. This is list. This camcorder must be in your list. If you are considering to buy a camcorder, I tell you, this camcorder, you're not going to regret it if you buy it. You have a lot of features. Just don't have high hopes on the low light performance, as camcorder basically don't do so well in low light. If you are thinking of having a noise-free camcorder, it's not gonna happen. Okay, so just bear in mind it has a small sensor, but it's really sharp in daylight, or it's slightly indoors with good lighting condition. It performs relatively well. If you are not so particular of low noise or noise whatsoever, it's really good, since Sony has the new XAVCS codec, which I'm going to talk about it later in the video, so stay with me. So now let's go through the outer side of the camcorder and see what Sony has actually to offer in this new HDR-CX455. So on the top right, you have the microphone input, and below it you have a headphone out, which you can actually use to monitor your sound. The microphone input is very convenient if you want to plug in an external microphone. So below it, on here, you have the micro SD card slot. As well, it can also support the M2 memory card if you still use it, but most of the time you will use the micro SD card. So on the left, you have a micro HDMI out to actually plug it into your HD TV to view your footages that you have shot. And on the top left, you have the first button. Here is the noise cancellation button to actually reduce background noise when you press it. And on the top, you have the playback button, and on the left you have the power on off switch to actually turn your camcorder on and off. So okay, and this camcorder actually has the 5.1 channel surround mic. You can see here it supports 5.1 channel surround. It's actually recorded in the AVC HD codec. XAVCS is not supported. So you have the Wi-Fi, you have the optical strategy shot here, and you have the Exmor R CMOS sensor. So looking at the back here, okay, it's the standard we call this the USB cable that is built in. You can use it to actually charge your camcorder, and You can use it to actually transfer files to your computer, and you have NFC as well. So okay, on the back here is the battery. So what makes me love about this camcorder is that now they use the info lithium battery. Previously, 2 years back, they actually used the info lithium battery on their PJ340 models and some of the models. And this last year, 2015, they used the NP-BX1. So the disadvantages of that battery is that first, it's built inside the camcorder, it's not outside, and second, you cannot buy a bigger battery, you cannot buy a higher capacity battery. But now this info lithium battery, you can actually buy a higher capacity battery, so you can actually have a longer shooting time, which is an advantage if you are willing to spend the extra money to get a bigger battery. So this camcorder is priced at $398. You can see here on B&H, this camcorder has a built-in 8GB internal memory. So now I will just go through the specification and some of the features that are built into the camcorder, which I think is very useful, and I think it can be able to help you to record high quality videos. So now I will actually go through the features with you, and some are really worth mentioning. So first of all is the optical steady shot with intelligent active mode. So it's basically optical image stabilization in addition to electronic stabilization. So they actually work both together, so it provides a steadier footage. But the thing is about intelligent active mode, it actually crops in a little bit, so you actually get a narrower view. So it's okay if you're shooting outdoors, it doesn't matter, so as long as the image stabilization works well. So now you have the rapid AF, which is really very good. It has actually improved the intelligent autofocus. So the next is the time-lapse capture, which was actually missing on the HDR-CX405. I'm glad they included it as well. So this is they're mentioning about the wide angle lens on the right, and going down you have the highlight movie maker. You can actually make a highlight of the videos you have shot on your camcorder. And next here you have a dual video recording, which is actually you can record an additional of MP4 if you are recording on either the XAVCS or the AVC HD progressive. The advantage of this is maybe just to get another MP4 HD file so that you can easily share to your Instagram or Facebook. But the disadvantage is that you actually take up more space. So most of the time I don't recommend using the dual recording feature. So next you have the live streaming where you stream. There's actually the Wi-Fi features. You can use it on this camcorder to actually live stream your videos that you have shot. So but this Ustream is actually optional. You have to pay for it if you want to use it. They have a package for it. So and you have NFC to actually easily to connect your phone. So next is the 5.1 channel surround sound microphone, which is actually included, which is very good. Although you might be thinking, I don't have 5.1 channel surround speaker, but don't worry, trust me that if you are recording on the 5.1 channel on AVC HD, you can actually record more ambient noise on the surround sound. So if you want to record places of the waterfall, you want to get more ambient noise, yes, the 5.1 surround sound really helps to capture the background and all the noise around you. If you are just listening on a headphone, although it's 2 channels, trust me, you can actually listen the difference. It's actually better. So this is really a good improvement that Sony has actually implemented. So now you have the voice cancellation, really good features. The 30 times optical zoom is the same as last year's model. You have the XAVCS codec, very good as well. As most of the Sony cameras now, they actually have XAVCS. That is a very good improvement over the AVC HD codec. And next you have the lock-on autofocus, which actually helps you to actually track the moving subject. So it actually helps you to keep the subject in focus, which is new features that Sony has added compared to the CX405. You have face detection, you have the smile shutter, and you have the intelligent auto, you have dual record, you have the picture effects. If you want to be creative a little bit, you can add some effects to your picture as well. You have the motion short video, which you can play with it, and you have the manual setting for iris and shutter speed. But this manual iris and shutter speed has been there since the CX405. It's just that they didn't mention it. But you can use the manual setting for the iris and shutter speed even on older camcorder models. So next is the Zeiss lens and the Bion X image processor, which is still the same. You have the still image capture, or if now you have the noise, auto wind noise reduction if you want to use it outdoors. You have the mic level control. This is really helpful if you want to use it to to increase the sound if you think it's not loud enough, or you think it's sometimes if you use auto it will go a little bit too high. And most of the time if you're using Sony camcorder, you have a problem with the autofocus noise. You actually listen to the autofocus noise if the microphone just it becomes too loud when you're using on auto. So this really helps to actually to cut down the noise of the autofocus, which I think is really a useful features that you must have. The next is the progressive recording, which is the same. And one more thing that Sony has actually brought back is the direct copy, which I love it because you can actually copy your footages to an external hard disk. If you are going to wherever you are overseas, you just want to bring your hard disk along, you can just copy all your footages to your hard disk drive, so you will not run out of space and worry about buying more and more memory cards. So this is very useful, and I'm happy that Sony has brought back these features to their camcorder. And that's it. So after I've gone through all the features and the specification of the HDR-CX455, and you think that maybe not because it's a little bit too expensive, why not get a camcorder that is around $250 and below? So if microphone input is not your major need, then I will highly recommend you the Panasonic V270 camcorder. It is a very good camcorder that I've been using for the past year, and I think that this Panasonic V270 produce really good image quality in daylight and also in slightly lower light condition. Since it's a camcorder, it doesn't really perform really well in low light. It have noise, but the image quality is still very good. What I like about this camcorder is really very convenient. I can actually share the videos that I've shoot straight directly to my smartphone using the built-in Wi-Fi. So if you want to save some money to buy tripods or memory cards, then I recommend you this Panasonic V270 camcorder. It's really a good buy. It is quite cheap now. It's about $200 to $250 if you can get one. It is very good. But do keep in mind, Panasonic has recently announced 3 new camcorders, full HD camcorders in CS 2016, which is the Panasonic W580, the 380 and the 180. So the Panasonic V380 is an upgrade of this V270 camcorder. So what are the new features that I saw on the Panasonic V380 is the added 50 megabits MP4 format, and you get the larger LCD screen. This is a 2.7 inch LCD monitor, so you're going to get a 3-inch LCD monitor this time, with higher resolution at 460K dots, and as well as you also get wireless twin camera as well. So basically for me, the wireless twin camera is just an added features, but most of the time you don't want to pair your phone with the camcorder. Why just use a camcorder? It's a bit troublesome for me. But the two things that I think is worth an upgrade if you don't mind getting the V380 is that you get the larger LCD screen and also the 50 megabits MP4 format. So this is the thing that I would want to share with you about the Panasonic. So but if you think that this Sony HDR-CX455 microphone input on 5.1 channel surround sound, and their newly announced features like the fast intelligent AF, then I will highly recommend you the Sony HDR-CX455. So now I'm actually shooting on my camcorder, the Panasonic V270 camcorder. As you can see that this Panasonic V270 camcorder doesn't have the bokeh. Even if I move closer a little bit, you don't get the bokeh, because just now I was using a mirrorless camera. It's a Micro Four Thirds Olympus EPL5 camera. So if you are thinking of getting a bokeh, you will want to go for mirrorless to get a more cinematic look. But for me, I have both a camcorder and also a mirrorless camera, because both have its advantage. So if you love to shoot a short film, you know, you would rather go for a mirrorless because it's just a short take, so it's alright. But for me, I sometimes go for concert and I go for live performance, which is actually require me to shoot for hours. So I want to have a camcorder so that I can record long period of time without getting overheating, and I don't have the recording limit of 30 minutes that most of the DSLR and mirrorless will have. So if you are thinking that you actually record a lot of performance, then you should really get a camcorder. So if you take most of the time photos and occasionally you take videos, then of course you would recommend you to go for a mirrorless camera, as mirrorless camera has very good video as well. It's just that it doesn't record so long hours, and it usually will get overheat because it's not actually meant to record for long videos, long hours. So if you just plan to shoot some short videos, you can go for a mirrorless camera or a DSLR. But for nowadays, I highly recommend people to go for mirrorless, as it's much more convenient. You don't need to carry, you know, big lenses and a big body. You can just, for example, you buy a small Panasonic GF7 or the Sony A5100. Those are much smaller and it's more convenient to use. So thank you everyone for listening to my video and all of my sharing. So if you have any comments, feel free to leave a comment below and we can discuss about it. And if you like my video, feel free to give a like and share to your friends if you think it's able to help them to decide their next camcorder. Until then, thank you everyone for watching. If you like, you can subscribe, and see you soon, and goodbye.